Have you ever had one of those days where everything feels overwhelming? The to-do list is a mile long, notifications are pinging non-stop, and your own thoughts are racing in 100 different directions. It feels like you're fighting a battle on all fronts, just trying to stay afloat. For years, this was my reality. I saw the world as a series of obstacles to overcome. The demanding boss, the competitive colleague, the endless bills, the societal pressure to succeed. I believed that if I could just conquer these external challenges, I would finally find peace and focus. I spent so much energy trying to control everything around me. I worked longer hours. I tried to outsmart the competition. I meticulously planned every single detail of my life, hoping to shield myself from the unexpected. But it was exhausting. No matter how hard I fought, new challenges would always appear. It was like playing a game of whack-a-mole. As soon as I dealt with one problem, two more would pop up in its place. I was constantly stressed, anxious, and deeply unfulfilled. I felt like a warrior on a battlefield, but a warrior who was losing badly. Then, one morning, something shifted. It wasn't a loud, dramatic explosion, but a quiet, profound realization that hit me with the force of a tidal wave. I was sitting at my desk, staring at a blank screen, trying to work on a project. My phone was buzzing, emails were flooding in, and my mind was a chaotic storm of worries, doubts, and distractions. I was thinking about a mistake I'd made yesterday, worrying about a meeting I had tomorrow, and mentally replaying an awkward conversation from last week. I couldn't focus on the present moment for more than a few seconds, and in that moment of pure mental chaos, the truth finally broke through. It was a simple, yet earth-shattering thought. My biggest enemy is not the world. It's not my boss. It's not my competitors. It's not the endless stream of problems that life throws at me. My biggest enemy is my own mind. It was a tough pill to swallow. It's so much easier to blame external factors for our struggles. It absolves us of responsibility. But the truth is, the outside world is always going to be chaotic and unpredictable. We can't control it. What we can control, however, is our internal world, our reaction to the chaos, our focus, our thoughts. My mind, which was supposed to be my greatest asset, had become my greatest adversary. It was undisciplined, easily distracted, and prone to negativity. It was the one constantly pulling me away from my goals, filling me with self-doubt, and creating imaginary fears that paralyzed me. The real battle wasn't happening out there. It was happening right here, between my ears. All the stress, all the anxiety, all the frustration, it wasn't caused by my circumstances, but by my mind's reaction to them. This realization was both terrifying and liberating. Terrifying because I had to face the fact that I was the source of my own suffering. Liberating because it meant that I also held the key to my own freedom. If my mind was the enemy, then it was an enemy I could learn to understand, to negotiate with, and ultimately, to lead. The power was in my hands. The fight wasn't against the world anymore. The fight was for control of my own attention, my own focus. That day, everything changed. I stopped trying to control the world and started the real work, the work of disciplining my own mind. This wasn't about suppressing thoughts or forcing myself into a rigid box. It was about training my attention, just like you would train a muscle at the gym. It was about learning to be the master of my mind, not its slave. The first step was simply to observe. I started practicing mindfulness. I would sit for just 5 minutes a day and watch my thoughts come and go without judgment. It was incredibly difficult at first. My mind would jump from one thing to another like a wild monkey. But slowly, with consistent practice, I started to notice small gaps of silence between my thoughts. In those gaps, I found a sense of peace I hadn't felt in years. Next, I created a fortress for my focus. I understood that my undisciplined mind was easily tempted by distractions, so I became ruthless about eliminating them. When it was time to work, I put my phone in another room. I used apps to block distracting websites. I set specific, non-negotiable blocks of time for deep work, and I treated that time as sacred. It was like telling my mind, for the next 90 minutes, this is all we're doing. Nothing else matters. I also learned to consciously choose my thoughts. When a negative or distracting thought would pop up, I wouldn't fight it. Fighting it only gives it more power. Instead, I would acknowledge it. I'd say, okay, I see you. Thought about that email. But right now, we are focusing on this task. And then I would gently guide my attention back to what I was doing. It's a constant process of catching yourself and redirecting over and over again. This isn't a quick fix. Disciplining your mind is a lifelong practice. There are days when my mind still feels like a chaotic storm. There are days when I get distracted and fall back into old habits. But the difference is, now I know what the real battle is. I know that my power doesn't come from controlling the world outside, but from mastering the world within. When you discipline your mind, you develop what is often called deep focus. It's the ability to direct your full attention to a single task without distraction for an extended period. And in this state of deep focus, something incredible happens. The quality of your work skyrockets. You solve problems more creatively. You learn faster. But it's more than just productivity. In that state of deep focus, the noise of the world fades away. The worries, the anxieties, the self-doubt, they all dissolve. There is only you and the task at hand. It's a profound state of flow, of being completely present and engaged. It's where you find not only your best work, but your deepest sense of fulfillment. Think of it like this. An undisciplined mind is like a magnifying glass waving around on a sunny day. It scatters light everywhere. Its energy is diffused, and it accomplishes nothing. But a disciplined mind, a focused mind, is like holding that magnifying glass perfectly still. It concentrates all of that scattered light onto a single point, creating a powerful beam that can burn through any obstacle. That is the power you have within you. The journey begins with that simple, powerful realization. Your biggest enemy is not the world. It is your own untrained mind. But the good news is, you have the power to change that. It starts with a single, conscious decision to begin the work, to practice mindfulness, to eliminate distractions, to gently guide your attention back again and again. Every time you resist the urge to check your phone, every time you pull your focus back from a distracting thought, you are strengthening your mental discipline. You are winning a small victory in the most important battle you will ever fight. This journey won't be easy, but it is the most rewarding one you can embark on. It's the path to not just high achievement, but to inner peace, clarity, and a profound sense of control over your own life. Stop fighting the world. Start training your mind. Your greatest victory awaits. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more content on mastering your mind and living a focused life. I'll see you in the next one.